The story kicks off with a young black man named Jefferson walking alone when two of his friends pull up and invite him for a drink, and with Jefferson accepts the offer. Once they arrive, they request a couple of drinks from the store owner, but they do not have enough money for it, so the store owner declines to give them the drinks. One of Jefferson's friends foolishly approaches the store owner, and the store owner feels threatened and shoots the friend. The other friend shoots back, and so does the store owner. The scene results in everyone, except Jefferson, being killed. The town residents quickly come in to see that Jefferson was the only one alive, and leads to them to assume that Jefferson did the killing. Later, Jefferson is held in court awaiting trial for his accusation of murder that he did not commit. In Jefferson's defense, his attorney would attempt to convince everyone that Jefferson is as dumb as an animal to plan a murder, and thus referring to Jefferson as a hog. Still, the all-white jury and judge sentenced Jefferson to death by electrocution. His family could do nothing but let Jefferson know that he isn't a hog before Jefferson is executed. The most prominent theme in the novel is corruption. Corruption is referring to United States laws that cause inequality among black and white Americans, where white Americans are being treated better than black Americans. The top literary elements used by Gaines are description, symbolism, and repetition. Attention to details are used by the characters to precisely explain their weaker powers that the US government has given them compared to white Americans. Grant Wiggins, who is the only educated black man among his community, describes clearly to Jefferson's godmother, Miss Emma, that he doubts he can fulfill her risky request of talking through the security guards.
You the teacher?
Yes, Miss Emma, I'm the teacher, and I teach what the white folks tell me to teach, reading, writing, and arithmetic, none of which Jefferson can use right now.
Grant mentioned the three subjects, of which none could support Jefferson's poor mental health. This portrays Grant as an honest character, and thus gains the audience's trust that the US government is indeed corrupt. Description can also be seen used by Jefferson's godmother, Miss Emma, where she uses it to show how hard she worked only to gain little power.
Go home
You
now.
tell the sheriff what I done for your family, Mr. Henri. You tell him how I raised your sister, Miss Edna, and you when your mama died.
The details she gave displays the vast amount of people she has supported and the security guard himself in order to have the privilege for such small request. This further proves the point that the US government is broken. Furthermore, the novel also contains symbolism, which is used by characters in order to describe their emotions. One of the symbols is the church. The church is a symbol of hope for the majority of the black community, where they believe there will always be a God present to protect them.
If you believed in God,
Reverend,
if you
please.
believed in God,
The faith in God and prayers is to convey how the black community prays the fear away from the corrupt justice system by the US government that constantly tries to get them incarcerated or worse, executed. Another symbol is the diary held by Jefferson. It symbolizes a method of coping with mental distress.
Somewhere. I wasn't crying. I wasn't begging. I was just going with them.
The excessive journaling signals Jefferson's poor mental health due to the humiliation by the judge and the US government that let it happen. Lastly, repetition is commonly used throughout the novel. Repetition is used to portray the complete knowledge that the black characters have in their mind as to analyze the threats and the dishonor by the US government on them.
Is praying gonna save him from the chair?
Grant constantly talking about the electric chair conveys the message of the threat that he and the black community feel, as it was common for electrocution victims to be black. This again refers to how corrupt the US government is for letting these actions happen without a fair representation in the justice system. Similarly, Miss Emma and Grant's aunt, Tante Lou, repeat the term hog as to remind the reader that they are in disbelief by the lack of respect toward Jefferson by the judge, which was excused by the US government.
You didn't see the look on the boy's face when the man called him a hog.
The constant repetition of the term hog reminds the reader that the characters are traumatized by the judge's reference to Jefferson. They put the obvious blame on the US government.